all cracking signals this morning, near and far. So I didn't catch a lot of the call signs as I was having to power up the generator. We're a little bit limited as to how early we can actually switch these noisy things on. So anyway, it's a great cracking signal from yourself. Mike 0, Mike Oscar Golf, standing by.
Yeah, I think that was Ray. Stand by then, Ray. M0 MOG, put me out of my misery. Remind me of your name.
Dennis.
It's Steve. S-T-E-V-E.
Yes, okay, Steve. Well, it's Ian.
Any many contests?
India Alpha November.
This lot on AM. This is on old modulation AM. East Sussex.
And I think
Not bad.
has just come on frequency as well. Is it G3? Is it VT?
He's not up yet.
We'll do that breakfast.
No, he's not up yet, is he?
Over to you in a moment, Ray.
Well, we can't go without him, can
You're
we?
about 5 and 8, Steve, from the Unimog. I have had the pleasure of sitting in the back of that wagon, having a chat with you. So nice to hear that on air again, and it is a very fine piece of equipment. And I think you've got probably nearby. You've got Ron in his K9, and it's nice to have one of these events where there are actually radio stations being operated. The big one down on the south coast, the name of which escapes me about. There's hardly any radio activity there, despite the fact there's 2,000 or 3,000 vehicles, quite a few of them fitted with radio and so on. But it is a military vehicle event, not a radio event. Anyway, let's go round to Ray. Wonder how you're copying everyone. G3 VTD M01K. Signal, a little bit of QSB, but not a great deal. I thought Andy had signed, but let me call him in. G4OK1. Okay, let's put it back round to Dave then. GB4 was Wartime in the Vale. Wonder how you're copying Ray, and if you can pass it on to Steve, and 0MOG. GB4, Whiskey India Victor, go ahead.
From GB4WIV, one quick question to yourself. What is your QTH, please? Go ahead.
Yeah, my QTH is West Sussex, and I'm 17 miles, 17 miles north of Chichester. 17 miles north of Chichester, Dave, over.
From GB4 Whiskey India Victor, thank you very much for that, just to go down in the jolly old logbook. Yes, unfortunately I cannot hear Ray and I cannot hear Andy. They are both in the noise, but I have electrical interference of a wibbly wobbly carrier that likes to follow across the AM received signal, and so weak signals are of poor reception purely due to that. So I'll have to excuse myself on that, and I'll be interested to see if Steve M0MOG can receive Andy and Ray probably much better than I can. So I think we'll leave the comments at that. I'm going to go to standby again, as there are 1 or 2 vehicles starting to arrive at the control point, and we have to book them all in. There's probably about 50, about 30 to 50 vehicles have arrived and are on site, and by the end of the day there'll be 400 military vehicles. A Spitfire has just arrived on the back of a trailer, which is a static display Spitfire, and we're sat right by the large arena which will have demonstrations of vehicles whizzing round and round, and my site G8EPR at YouTube will be showing all the videos next week, and if there's a couple that have already been upped of this year's show, and there's several dozen videos of previous shows to show people what they're missing if they're not coming. So after that advert, on to you, Steve. M0MOG and the group GB4WIV.
GB4WIV. Hi, this is Mike Zero, Mike Oscar Golf Portal, Steve. Great signal there. Well, I suppose it should be just across the field. Incidentally, in passing the Spitfire you mentioned, I think although it's a static display, it's got a working Merlin engine in it, and they'll fire it up from time to time over the weekend. So it should be interesting to see. Andy and Ray, those signals, there was some interference. I was picking that up as well. I could just about hear them, but somebody popped by the shack, and I just took my mind off the ball, as it were, briefly, and I didn't home in on them. But it was definitely, they were a little bit below par here from my location anyway. Ian, Mike 0YMK, it's cracking 5.9, and Dave, G8DPR, a great signal, about 5.8, say, from here. Anyway, that's about it, really. I'll probably start doing a bit of experimentation with Ritty, although I tend to get better success with that long range later on in the evening, probably from about 6-7 o'clock onwards, so I'll be a bit limited by how late I can actually use the generator at that time, but still hopefully get a little bit in this evening. So I'm probably going to go and make myself a brew now, so I'll pass it back to you then, Ian. Mike 0YMK, this is Mike 0, Mike Oscar Golf, standing clear.
Yeah, okay then, Steve. Well, nice to hear you on air, and I may have a listen this evening and see what's going on. This frequency in the evenings, early evenings, has been. And I hope the event goes well. Now, I'm sure it will. These things are always driven in major part by the weather. But it looks as if you're going to have the weather on your side. I'm going to slope off now. I've got to cook my own breakfast. Or maybe I'll just have some cornflakes. But anyway, I'll put it round to Ray for a final, Ray, and I'll just listen round and then I'll pull the switch. But you're a good signal, Ray. 5.8 to 5.9, pretty ETD and 0.1K. you were a solid signal last time, and this time you did drop down in QSB briefly. And thank you for the comments on the audio. I try, with all my transmitters, I try and concentrate on just getting lots of audio out, and the DX100, it lends itself to that, and really it's just a question of a little bit of fine tuning in the microphone amplifier. Anyway, I'll say 7-3 guys, and nice to have a chat this morning. I was a bit late on, but as I say, Karen's away, so I had to take the dog out for a walk first and so on. So that's my excuse anyway. 7-3 guys, M0YMK, listening briefly, then close it. Good morning.
Yeah, cheers from GB4WIV listening, and to M0MOG and to M0YMK. GB4WIV to stand by.
7-3 Dave, and I think that was MHX. Is that you, Mike?